Hello, Sahid. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to Nigerian Curiosity today.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Today we're talking about multicultural relationships. Now, Nigerians are increasingly beginning to marry outside of their tribes and also marry outside of the country. They're marrying a lot of foreigners nowadays. I understand that you are married to a non-Nigerian, and I'm wondering, and this is going to go back to your upbringing, were there any expectations of where your future wife should come from?
Um, my mother she let us know early on in our lives that she expected nothing less than a Nigerian woman as our wives. So that expectation was set in stone, and the way I was raised was to bring a Nigerian woman back home.
Would it be a Nigerian, or was there a specific tribe that your family wanted your wife to come from?
Well, if we wanted to take it another notch up, it had to be a Yoruba woman from our tribe.
From your tribe?
Yes.
Well, you're married to a Zambian, and
Yes.
Zambia is very far from Nigeria.
Exactly.
I'm wondering, how did your family react to the fact that you were going to marry a Zambian?
The reaction was not as bad as I thought it would be because they knew her as my girlfriend, and we were together for a long time, and it gave them enough time to get used to her and like her as a person, and so the nationality didn't play so much of a role.
That's good. So they were happy that when you announced that you were marrying
Yes,
your wife.
they were happy.
That's interesting. How were you able to prepare them? Because you guys dated for how long did you date before you married?
About 6 years.
So I'm wondering. I'm just going to assume that, as you said, that gave them some time to get used to her, regardless of her nationality. But I also wonder, did you have to do anything extra to prepare them for the fact that they would have a foreign daughter-in-law?
I did actually. That 6 year time frame was enough time to prepare them, to introduce her to them, and to get them to talk on occasion, and they would wish each other happy birthdays, happy holidays. So they developed a relationship, and they slowly knew her as a person, and so when the time came to break the news, it wasn't so much of a surprise, and that was the process they went through in accepting her.
I also understand that you have a child.
Yes.
So I'm curious. Multicultural relationships, obviously, cultural difference plays such a huge factor in such relationships. I'm wondering how that factored into the naming process.
Wow, that was a funny experience because obviously both sides try to name the child essentially. We had on one end her parents, picked out names and were hoping those names would go on the birth certificate. My parents did the same. Now on the day my son was born, we're gonna put the names on paper on the birth certificate, and so because her mom and my wife were present at the hospital, there was an unspoken pressure to name, the child, give him a Zambian name. And so I called my mom, knowing that this might not sit too well, because I was, succumbing to the pressure. And I called her and I said, okay, well, I'm thinking of what name to put on the birth certificate. And my mom commanded me to make that child's name, a Yoruba one. And she got all funny on me, saying, don't let those people make you name your child, somewhere else. And so that's how that happened. And my son ended up having a Yoruba name.
Does your son also have a Zambian name?
He does, and he has a Zambian name, and we picked one name from their side.
Well, that's a good compromise. I hope that sat well with everybody.
It sat well.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, I'd also like to ask, there are probably people out there who are watching right now that are in multicultural relationships, and probably if they're Nigerian, they might be facing some resistance from their family members, or they are at least worried about introducing a foreigner as their potential partner. Would you have any advice for those people? Anything that you would recommend that they do?
Yes, what I would say is do research. Feed your family information about your girlfriend or boyfriend's side or culture. Let them slowly understand and learn about that culture, so that when they do meet, there will not be a cultural clash. You know, they'll be able to communicate in a peaceful and friendly manner.
That sounds like very sound advice, actually, for anybody.
Yes, it is. It would work.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much once again for taking the time to talk to us.
Welcome.
We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.